Hey, what's up, everybody? It's BDF44. So, I don't think I ever spoke about my feelings on the passing of Kobe Bryant. I don't think I did. During the time that it happened, I had just lost my niece. Literally buried her the night before. And I didn't know her, to be honest with you guys. I didn't know my niece, but of course I know my brother. And I know my rest of my family, and we all love one another. So that was my father's granddaughter, and I was going to be sure to make my presence known. So I had a very fruitful time with my family in celebrating her life, and I won't forget it. The very next day, I go to work, and I'm talking to my other niece, another niece of mine, about family stuff. You know, we're on the phone, and two texts come in right away, bam, bam. And of course, they're giving me the news. She's getting texts at the same time. We're on the phone. And I'm telling her what just came in, and she's telling me that she sees the same thing. And then we hang up the phone, and of course, you know, go our separate ways trying to figure out if this is true. The first reports were that his whole family was on board. Rick Fox was on board. And then they quickly came out and confirmed that Vanessa was not on board. No other kids were mentioned at the time. When the news settled in, we still didn't know about Gigi. When we finally, when it hit us that this was real, when we saw the crash of the plane or the helicopter and the footage of everything that they had, it became ever so clear to me that our champion was not with us. My feelings on that were, I was distraught. You know, I was at work during the time it happened. Even though I was talking to my niece and everything, I had the way my job was set up that day out, I had downtime just like I do here. So I was able to kind of, it was a Sunday just like today is. So I was able to just kind of chill a little more than normal. And I mean, I'll never forget this, you guys. I was doing a patrol on the property about 2 hours before the news hit. And it was the way the property that I was on was set up. We were in carts and stuff, so we drive around. When I was doing my patrol, I drove past a little gated area on the property where they keep, like, you know, workers, equipment and things of that nature. And I smelt an overwhelming stench of death. As if somebody had passed away in that thing, or if their animal had crawled up in there and died. It was just immense smell. And it was something in my spirit, in my mind, whatever, however you look at these type of things. Something in me said, there's more to this than what it seems. That's the words that came to me. There's more to this than what it seems. What you're smelling, yeah, there may be an animal in there, but you are being made aware of death. And of course, 2 hours later, the news. For me, Kobe's passing was one of the most devastating things I've ever experienced in my life. Not related to somebody that I know. You know what I mean? Like, I've lost people that I care about. And, you know, it's different. But Kobe's passing for me was very, very difficult because of the fact that Gigi was, in fact, on board. For me. It was me personally. As a man, I can accept a grown man meeting his end. Even if it's my favorite man. We can, you know, we're here to go. We're here to go. But the thought of him losing his life, knowing that he couldn't protect his daughter, was too cruel for me. As a man, as a protector of the mind, in my mind, I look at myself as a protector even though I have my own kids. The last thing I would want to have to do is tell my child we're going to be okay when we're not. You know? We don't know what went on board, so we don't know if they were even made aware of the danger that they were in necessarily. The way it's been described to me is that it happened instantaneously. They turned in, just kind of turned in embankment, um, and of course ran straight into a mountain. So maybe they were probably legitimately concerned because obviously it was extremely foggy. But maybe the way I saw it in my mind, where he knew he was going to die and couldn't console his child, or wanted so bad to protect his child and probably angry about the fact that he couldn't. That really broke my heart, man. I ain't gonna lie to you guys. That really bothered me a lot. Just thinking about how Gigi was gonna tear up the WNBA one day. She was gonna be the greatest women's basketball player probably we had ever seen, or something of that nature. She had so much life ahead of her. Her passing is what made it the worst for me. Kobe had lived a full life. I know he left it all on the floor. Anything he made himself involved in, he gave it all he had. He utilized time better than most human beings that ever walked this earth. He trained harder than most human beings ever walked this earth. He traveled more, gained more money than most of us will ever see in our lifetime. If I had to live a 44-year-old life, Kobe's wasn't the worst one to have. Was he 41, 40? I think he was probably about 42, something like that. But you know what I'm saying. Early 40s. If I had to leave this earth in my early 40s, I would have liked to have lived like Kobe Bryant. So that's a full life. Even though he didn't get full time, he accomplished more than most of us would be able to do in 3-4 lifetimes, and put in more effort than a lot of us would be able to put in. So I say congratulations to a life like Kobe. He impacted the world. You know what I mean? He can rest now. He's given it his all. That's how I look at that. With his daughter, I don't feel that way. The other kids on board, I don't feel that way. It's just some of the other people on board, it's rough, man. The whole situation was rough. The pilot, it was just human error possibly. Going up in the plane, the helicopter in the first place was human error, in my opinion. That just shouldn't have happened. They should have took the freeway that day. Just unbelievable. And I think about the dream that I had later on that week, probably the following night, I think it was. And it was a dream where I could see Gigi in the dream, and she was like tugging. You could see that she was tugging at a leash, like an animal leash. And she was trying to get the animal to come with her. You could never see the animal on the leash. You just saw the leash and you saw her struggling, pulling something. And you knew it was an animal. And she's tugging with all her might, trying to get this animal to come with her. And he's trying to get loose with everything he had. And obviously I saw his daughter, it was Gigi. I knew the animal, the beast, was Kobe. The beast within. The black mamba. He wasn't ready to go. And the reason I felt he wasn't ready to go wasn't because his life wasn't complete, but because he was so very angry that his daughter and those other kids lost their life in that same helicopter. I would never come to you guys and tell you I have confirmation from anyone who's no longer here. But I can tell you that the dream that I had surely felt like I was getting that. That Kobe was not going to be okay in the afterlife, knowing that his daughter had to come with him. But Gigi was going to make it so that he would be okay, because she was going to be right there with him. And then further from that, I took it that Kobe was not going to be able to accept death unless he had a guide, unless his daughter was with him, dragging and kicking him into heaven. He wasn't going to go. He had that much willpower on the court. He had that much willpower in his life. He had that much willpower in how he moved as a human being, that same energy that made him impossible to deal with on a basketball court was also that willpower that was in his spirit, that made it so that he was going to fight death with everything he had. Like I said, I have no truth to tell you guys. This is just what I got from a dream that I received after he passed. Figured I'd share it with you guys because it meant so much to me, and I want to be able to remember it years from now. But I think Kobe has his guide. I think Gigi's exactly where she needs to be, which is right next to her father, helping him cope with the devastation of the situation spiritually. I think the other families are probably just doing just fine. I didn't see them in a dream at all. I would think that their spirits are going on to where they belong. But I just want to share that with you guys, and thank you for being open-minded about listening to stuff like this. Kobe meant the world to a lot of us, so I hope I didn't disrespect anyone in what I was saying. This is experience. This is not really about my opinion, more so than just about what happened in the days following my dream and all that. And Kobe meant a lot to me as a person who didn't know him. I was in his presence maybe twice in real life, not including the basketball games that I went to. No, once, not twice, once. The ESPN Zone had a special day where he and Spike Lee, when they were doing their the movie that they were doing with one another, they both came up to my job, and they shut the entire job down. I was able to meet Spike Lee at the end of the night, right before he got into his limo. I actually walked up to him, spoke to him, shook his hand. Good energy, great guy. But Kobe I was able to see, but Kobe was different because I'll never forget this either. Kobe, when he came into the room, as soon as he walked into the ESPN Zone, the place was full of people because they had a lot of fans there that they allowed to come in on special circumstances. All of the workers were allowed to stay because, of course, we wanted to be there for that. And the whole room swayed with him. I've never seen this in my life, but I've also never been around anybody that famous in my life. I would imagine it'd be the same way with somebody like Michael Jackson, rest in peace, or people of that type of stature. When you're that famous, I would imagine this is the type of aura that comes with that. But the whole room swayed with him. Wherever he went, you just see humans just turning. It's almost like you're seeing a bunch of cameras in human form. Like they move with this person. If he sways that way, the whole room sways that way. If he sways this way, the whole room moves that way. When he leaves the building, the whole room left. Like it was that kind of energy. And it was just a lot of strength, spiritual energy exuding off of this man. Like when I saw him, he felt like something. It's strange. You don't meet too many people that you feel their energy exuding off of them. You feel their presence physically on your skin. Like your skin stands up around these people. Like the hairs on your skin stand up. Kobe was one of those people. He exuded a very, very, very specific type of strength and energy is the best way I know how to describe it. I don't know if anybody else shares that, but that's what I felt when I saw him. I wasn't starstruck. I was just really, really shocked at just the whole way, the way he moved, the way it felt to be in his presence. I was really surprised by that. That was the only time I got a chance to see him, but I did get a chance to see him play. You know, sitting in the stands watching the Lakers. Went to probably about 10 Laker games in my life. He was playing about 8 of them, so I was able to see him play a lot and watch his whole career. Man, that was my hero. Man, that was my champion. He was everybody's champion who loved the Lakers. And gave us 20 years, man. 20 years of blood, sweat, and tears, and nothing but effort and success. And there is no one greater who ever wore a Laker uniform. No one greater. He's the greatest Laker of all time. 2 jerseys, 8 and 24, hanging up in the Raptors because of it. And we need a statue out there, too, in front of Staples. But that's what I want to say, man. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace to everybody on the helicopter. Rest in peace to Gigi, of course. You know, I just send condolences to the family. And want to acknowledge the strength of Vanessa Bryant, as well as the strength of the other people in his family, his mother, his sister, his children. I got a lot of love for you guys from afar. And yeah, just thank you for sharing your loved one with us. His impact is still felt and will still be felt forever. PDF 44 here. I'm out.